What's up, guys? Welcome to Bro Beats. Today I'm gonna show you guys 6 mistakes producers make when making melodies. If you guys haven't subbed already, make sure you hit that sub button because it does help out a lot. So let's hop right into it. So first thing I'm gonna do is basically just grab a scale. We can just go with some a little higher. Let's do a B minor. All right, the scale doesn't really matter too much. All right, so the first one is what I like to call ARP Syndrome. All right, and I'm gonna show you an example of what this looks like. So basically how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna show you the evolution of our melody. So I'm gonna start doing these mistakes and then fixing them as I go. And then at the end, we should have a complete melody. All right, so let me go zoom in so you can see everything. And basically the ARP Syndrome is basically melodies like this. So, right, and then you just repeat that over and over again. All right, I'm sure everyone has made a melody like this before, so I'll play it. All right, so it wasn't bad. All right, so but we all made something like this before, but especially if you're beginning, I don't think this is good for your learning. All right, it just kind of limits you. So try to stay away from doing melodies like this, at least looping over and over like this. So how to fix this is want to add variation and add some space. All right, so I'm gonna just go through and do that real quick and so you can just see like how I go about doing that. So let's just change a few notes up. Let's see. Okay, so we add a little bit of space, and then maybe over here we can pull this last note down just so when it doesn't sound like complete same, so it's kind of like an end to our melody. All right, so that's number 1. All right, so now we're on to number 2, and number 2 is not using chords in your melodies. All right, this should be a no-brainer by now, but there's still people that they don't use chords. Now you can make melodies without using chords. All right, but if you're a beginner, I would suggest just doing them and getting used to using them and just learning like different type of chords and stuff to use. All right, so I'm gonna just go through and put some chords down. So we can start here. Let me turn these down a bit. All right, that's fine right now. So that is basically the chord part. So just remember, try to add chords instead of just adding one single note melodies. All right, so now we're gonna go on to number 3. All right, and number 3 would be not layering enough. All right, so this part right here, a lot of people, especially if you're new to producing, you would stop here and you think this is straight heat. All right, which is fine. If you got some really nice sound selection, this could work, especially if you like use ARPs or something like that. But if you just want to progress, I would suggest you try layering. So I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna just do a little bit because I don't want new people to come to the video and be confused like, oh, what'd you do there, what'd you do there? So I'm gonna just keep it simple. So what we can do to layer is add bass notes and higher pitched notes. All right, so we can just copy our bass notes down here, our lowest notes, and just pull them down 1 octave. We can actually lower them just a little bit, and then let's go up, and then we can really just choose any note. So let's see. And we could just, if you're confused, you don't know what note to use, just look at the notes you've already put down and then just pull them up on octave. So I can just pull this up an octave, for example. All right, and then we can stretch this out. All right, so that is pretty much how you would layer the simple way. So now we're gonna go on to number 4. Okay, so number 4 would be having no rhythm in your melodies. All right, so how you would go about fixing this. So if you're at this point and you're like, I don't know what notes to actually change, a quick thing that you can do is you can mess with your chords and you can take one single kind of note. So you can take this whole line and then the end, and you can just shift them over one note. All right, so but be careful with this because you could select the wrong one and it could throw off the melody. So we could just keep this. All right, so that's giving it a little bit of different rhythm than just on the grid. And on the grid is just like on these lines. All right, so in between would be like kind of off the grid. Let's put this back. So we have these notes that we changed. All right, and then what we can do is change our chords up, and this is what people don't do. They just keep their chords there, but you can actually move your chords around. So we can take this F sharp and we can just put it halfway, and then maybe put this B halfway. We can kind of do the same thing here. And if you're wondering like how do you know what spots to put, I just usually put these parts in their own area. If you're really lost, you don't know what to do, that's what you could do. So you can see like how these notes, it goes down, but there's no note here. You could just put that A there or slide that chord. So right here, you could slide this right here, or you could do something like this. All right, if you're really lost and you're not sure. So let me see, let's see how this sounds. Okay, so I like that. So now let's do the second part real quick. And I'm gonna try to keep this as zoomed in as possible so you can see what I'm doing. So we can follow the same method here. Just kind of, again, we could put this. All right, and you can see I usually leave the middle note still in the front. You don't have to do that, it's just what I prefer. So once again, we could just follow that same kind of pattern and then we can offset it. All right, so now let's play it, and I'm gonna try to show the whole thing. All right, so let's play. All right, so now let's move on to number 5. All right, so at number 5, we have velocity. So this one isn't as hard because you can just automate this. So how you automate it is you press Control A and then Alt R, and then this randomizer will pop up, or you could just go to the tools and then go down to randomize, and it'll do it for you, as you can see down here. And let me actually pull it up. All right, and it'll do it for you. So I'll just do a quick rundown on velocity on how I kind of go about it. So I'm gonna just copy a few notes here, just pull them over so you can. All right, so this is how I kind of go about velocity. I just go in the direction the notes are going. So if you have like a flam, right, and this is pretty much a flam, right, I put the note that's lower, I put it the velocity lower. So let me pull this up, as you can see, and this is probably making it hard to see. So like if it's going up, I usually just strum it up like this. All right, and then when it goes down, I put the velocity down. So this one I'm gonna put down, and then this one up again. All right, so that's just a quick rundown of how I just go about it. All right, so that's velocity. So now we're gonna move on to number 6. So at number 6, we have using the same octave for every instrument. All right, now a lot of people forget this. So with sounds nowadays, you don't have to do too much because a lot of sounds do the work for you. So what you would do is just layer it, right? You would just copy it and layer it. Now a lot of people, they forget to actually take out some notes or just change the octave. So for this sound I have a bell, and I'll play it, and what this would do is it would create problems later, especially with mixing, because it would sound very muddy. All right, because they're around the same frequencies and it's kind of everything's meshing. So you want to kind of create some range somewhere in there. So I'm gonna show you what this sounds like if you just copied it. All right, not bad, but you can tell it just something's clashing in there, right? So now if I go in here, just pull it up an octave, and it doesn't necessarily have to be pulling up an octave. You could literally just delete a few notes at the bottom, or just keep the higher tones and delete some lower tones. So this isn't the only way to do it. All right, so pull it up an octave, let's play it. All right, sounds a lot more dynamic, and it sounds like I did a lot more, but all I did was pull up an octave. So that is number 6. All right, so that is the 6 mistakes that producers make while making melodies. And a bonus one would have to be basically using the same sounds every single beat. All right, so some people, they tend to use like the same exact bell. They always revert back to that same pad, and I think this isn't that good to do. Now, if you don't have sounds to use, that's fine. I understand that. Use what you have, but most VSTs have a lot of presets, so I think it's important to experiment with different type of sounds, so you can kind of increase your sound selection skills. All right, and if you just use the same sound every beat, you're not really learning anything, because you know it works all the time. All right, and then you're not learning how to use different type of instruments and what instruments work together. So I think that goes hand in hand with kind of making melodies and everything. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.